sleeping Godzilla underneath Yellowstone that if it erupts in a maximum eruption called Category 8, it could literally tear the guts out of the United States of America.
Welcome to the wild and awe-inspiring western region of the United States, where a dormant monster lies in slumber. For the past 70,000 years, this sleeping giant has shown occasional signs of stirring, but it has yet to fully awaken from its deep slumber. However, when this colossal force does awaken, it has the potential to unleash a power unlike anything witnessed before. Nestled within this breathtaking landscape with its jaw-dropping attractions lies Yellowstone National Park, a place that has long been a magnet for thrill seekers and nature enthusiasts alike. Yet, according to the renowned scientist Michio Kaku, there is a new reason to approach this natural wonder with caution. You see, beneath the surface of Yellowstone, an active supervolcano lies dormant. The mere thought of an eruption from this colossal force is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. Can we truly comprehend the magnitude of such an event? And more importantly, could we survive it? Let's find out. Since its establishment in 1872, Yellowstone has captivated the hearts of adventurers and nature lovers alike. Spanning an impressive 3,472 square miles across 3 states, this remarkable park attracts nearly 3 million visitors a year. And who could resist? Its awe-inspiring natural scenery boasts iconic attractions, such as the famous Old Faithful Geyser, picturesque hiking trails, majestic mountain peaks, and soothing hot springs, not to mention the abundant wildlife that calls this place home, including grizzly bears, moose, elk, beavers, and bighorn sheep. However, beneath the surface of this outdoor enthusiast's haven lies a natural marvel that holds the power to extinguish everything in its path. The Yellowstone supervolcano. Deep within the park, several miles below the surface, lies a significant source of granitic magma. For those who relish the great outdoors and the communities living nearby, news of a full eruption would be devastating. Historical records show that this magma chamber has experienced occasional eruptions over time. The most recent eruption on the Pitchstone Plateau occurred approximately 70,000 years ago. While most eruptions in Yellowstone have been smaller lava flows, the remote possibility of a catastrophic super eruption looms large, which is why Yellowstone receives significant attention. A super eruption is defined as an eruption with a volcano explosivity index magnitude of 8 or above, and an ejection volume of at least 1,000 cubic kilometers, enough to bury an area the size of Texas 5 feet deep. These super eruptions are thousands of times more powerful than the eruptions we are accustomed to witnessing. Beneath the ground, a heated region of rock known as magma lies in a molten or semi-molten state. This magma chamber, located 4 to 6 miles beneath the park, causes the ground to swell as magma flows into it. As the magma begins to harden and cool, the ground collapses. Scientists monitoring this activity since 1923 have observed the ground rising by approximately 25 centimeters between 2004 and 2009. However, in 2010, a shift occurred, and the ground started to sink. Experts like Michio Kaku speculate on whether this recent period of steady growth indicates a potential eruption in the near future. The concern lies in the intensity of such an eruption and the implications it would have. What would happen if Yellowstone begins to tremble tomorrow? That is the question that keeps scientists and experts on the edge. On June 13, 2022, a 500-year flood wreaked havoc in Yellowstone, with northern areas of the park receiving a staggering 7.5 to 9.5 inches of rain and snowmelt combined in just 24 hours. The flood devastated the North Entrance Road and 3 parts of the Northeast Entrance Road, bringing widespread destruction. However, the park swiftly initiated repairs, restoring damaged infrastructure and resuming operations within a matter of days. Yet, the recent subterranean activity has fueled speculation about the potential power of an eruption. Over the past decade, the Yellowstone volcano has risen at an unprecedented rate. Additionally, the park experiences between 1,000 and 3,000 earthquakes each year, most of which are too small to be felt. These earthquakes, however, provide valuable insights into the expansion of the magma chamber beneath the park. The increase in shaking and rattling throughout the park suggests a recent influx of magma into the reservoir. Geologists face challenges in accurately forecasting Yellowstone's activity since comprehensive observations of the volcano have not been possible. However, studying its distant past offers some clues. According to geological data, Yellowstone has witnessed 3 massive eruptions in the last 2.1 million years, occurring roughly every 600,000 to 800,000 years. The most recent major eruption, believed to have taken place around 640,000 years ago, left evidence throughout the park and even as far as Louisiana, where volcanic ash and debris were found. After each eruption, the Yellowstone supervolcano collapsed, consuming the surrounding terrain, including trees, mountains, and other features. Calderas are like vast natural craters formed by powerful volcanic events. In the case of Yellowstone, both the Yellowstone caldera and the Yellowstone supervolcano share the same name. If a caldera-forming eruption were to occur in Yellowstone, it would pose an enormous natural hazard. Scientists have discovered that the most recent explosion in Yellowstone was 1,000 times more powerful than the infamous 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption. The devastation caused by that eruption was immense, destroying hundreds of square kilometers of land in Washington and Oregon, and resulting in the loss of many lives. During the last eruption of the Yellowstone supervolcano, a deadly plume of hot ash, molten rock, and lethal gases shot thousands of meters into the air. The effects of this eruption were so severe that there's a good chance the entire continent experienced darkness. The eruption unleashed fast-moving currents of hot, dry rock fragments known as pyroclastic flows, which raced through the area at astonishing speeds, burying and crushing everything in their path. The once beautiful scenery was scorched for miles by magma erupting from the depths of the earth. The Yellowstone caldera itself, which is about 50 kilometers wide and 70 kilometers long, still bears remnants of the most recent eruption. In a region known as the Lava Creek Tuff, one can still observe the thick volcanic debris left over after the eruption. Geologists have uncovered evidence of at least 47 super eruptions throughout Earth's history, which means Yellowstone is not the only supervolcano in the world. One of the most recent super eruptions occurred approximately 26,000 years ago at Lake Taupo in New Zealand. But perhaps the most significant eruption was the enormous Toba eruption, which took place 74,000 years ago and is believed to have triggered a severe global winter lasting 6 to 10 years, potentially leading to the near extinction of the human species. While it's not a fixed rule, the Earth typically experiences a super eruption approximately every 100,000 years. So how would a Yellowstone eruption unfold? A minor eruption in Yellowstone resulting in lava flows and a normal volcanic explosion is the most likely scenario. As magma rises to the surface, it would likely be triggered by a cluster of earthquakes in a particular area of the park. However, in the case of a much larger super eruption, warning signs would be much more evident. Renowned physicist Michio Kaku predicts that the entire park would likely experience significant earthquake activity before an eruption, which could take weeks or even months to fracture the rocks above the magma chamber. Now, imagine a super eruption that is 1,000 times more powerful than a typical volcanic eruption. It would release at least 240 cubic miles of material and could last for weeks or months, characterized by prolonged volcanic activity within the park. The lava flows resulting from such an eruption would be confined to a circumference of about 40 kilometers. However, only about 1/3 of the ejected material would enter the atmosphere. The majority of the damage would be caused by volcanic ash, a mixture of shattered rock and glass propelled kilometers into the air and dispersed throughout the nation. Scientists predict that an eruption would produce an umbrella cloud that would grow evenly in all directions. Based on past ash deposits and advanced modeling, it is possible that the northern Rockies could be covered in 3 feet of ash from a super eruption. This would devastate significant portions of Wyoming, Idaho, Colorado, Montana, and Utah. The Midwest would receive a few inches of ash, while the coasts would experience much less ashfall. The precise distribution of ash would depend on the season and weather conditions. Regardless of the specifics, any of these possibilities would be disastrous. Ash and debris may not sound so harmful, but even just 3 to 4 feet of ash can completely destroy infrastructure, buildings, and transportation systems. Countless lives would be lost, and air travel would come to a standstill. Even a small amount of ash can have fatal effects on the respiratory system, making driving extremely hazardous, and lead to the death of crops and animals. Evacuations would be necessary, as it would be evident that the park and nearby communities had been devastated. Fortunately, in the case of a Yellowstone eruption, the lava flows would be limited to a smaller area, impacting a maximum of 50 miles within Yellowstone National Park. These fiery streams of molten rock serve as a clear indicator of volcanic activity, alongside the seismic activity that precedes an eruption. Contrasting the scorching hot lava, there's another surprising consequence of volcanic eruptions that affects our planet: a dramatic drop in temperature. A large volcanic eruption, such as the one that could occur at Yellowstone, would have significant impacts on global climate. Volcanoes release sulfur aerosols into the atmosphere, which can reflect sunlight back into space, resulting in lower temperatures. The exact amount of ash and debris that would be ejected into the air during a Yellowstone eruption is unpredictable, given the potential scale of the event. However, any level of volcanic activity releases particles into the atmosphere that scatter and block intense sunlight and harmful UV rays. This leads to a decrease in temperature, and a super eruption at Yellowstone could release enough of these particles to significantly cool the planet for several years. Over time, volcanoes naturally become dormant. The opposing forces of heat rising from below and the relative coldness from the surface act on the magma chamber beneath Yellowstone. In theory, if the heat from below diminishes, the chamber could freeze and transform into a solid granite body, causing the supervolcano to cease its activity. Additionally, the volcanic hotspot beneath Yellowstone is progressively moving northeast as the North American tectonic plate moves southwest over it. Eventually, the hotspot will leave Yellowstone's foundation, and the supervolcano there will likely no longer exist. Another supervolcano could potentially form much farther northeast, but that would only happen after the hotspot reheats and melts the crust, which can take 1,000,000 years or longer. Considering the immense timescales involved, it's challenging for us to comprehend the human species is relatively young, and these geological systems operate over vast periods. Earth has existed for an incredibly long time, and these natural processes have shaped our planet's history. That pretty much wraps this video up, guys. Thanks for watching. So, do you think Yellowstone is due for another eruption anytime soon? Share with us in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel with a bell notification if you enjoy watching our content. We upload some awesome stuff here, which you will most certainly enjoy. Hit a like on this video and leave a comment below. See you guys in the next one.